The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And pretty much every day we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
It does every day. And, of course, as we start the show off, the S&P's up about 12.5 points. There is very light volume, 2.2 billion shares. Yesterday was the lightest day for options action in over 2 years. Wasn't much on actual equity volume either. Of course, we're going into fund buying out here, and it looks to me like light and variable fund buying. But I can imagine that we'll probably see maybe a little bit of that come into the end of the day. We've got Janet Yellen out of the way for a while. She's, of course, saying one thing. 5 of the other FOMC presidents are saying yet another. And, of course, everybody's thinking that Janet Yellen's got the inside track. Of course, and we'll talk about a little bit more about that. But there's not a lot to go on here. We've got a natural buying season. I think the markup will be minimal into this unless we start seeing some volume. It's just time to get this party started.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1989, Michael Milken is indicted on 98 felony charges of violating federal security laws ahead of the junk bond desk at Drexel Burnham Lambert. No T pronounced on that, just like the Colbert Report. Prosecutors disclosed that he earned $550 million in compensation in 1986, but almost nothing else. They fling at Milken sticks. He ends up going to jail for a couple of years, coming out of it rather unscathed, kept all his cash, has been a very active investor on his own right in all the years. For the most part, spent a lot of cash trying to resuscitate his reputation. But a great deal of what happened in the excesses of the 80s, and mostly kind of illuminated by movies like Wall Street and others. But one of the poster child, probably not the worst. He did just as many things as he could right on the line. And if you have big, expensive lawyers, that's enough. But been pretty good since then, at least giving a lot of that cash away that he's made since that time. But, of course, I don't think he's allowed as a participant in the stock market anymore. I think that was part of the sentence. He was excommunicated by the SEC. And that's kind of one of the worst things, I guess, that traders can be, because, of course, it becomes incredibly hard to ever come back if you can't get in the game that you know. But I think he's, last time I looked, still worth over $1 billion. So I will not cry for him, nor should Argentina. Other things going on, fairly quiet. Hang Seng was closed yesterday, or on Monday. It's opened for today's trading. Didn't really do a lot. But I did kind of see that some of the earnings that have been rather pie in the sky for the last few years are starting to change. China National Building Material was off 5.5%, and the non-ferrous metals company was off almost 1% after both companies reported disappointing fiscal year 2015 results. Of course, we're into 2016. And I don't think that anything is going to change. Their outlook was benign at best. So, yeah, you got a tumor, and it's not cancerous. We're still going to have to cut it out. So not a great day, but not a bad day either. Could have been a lot worse. Maybe we can start seeing some changes. You would think that maybe their comments would have been a little bit better with copper coming off the lows, but not a lot of joy in reporting from Chinese companies, at least in the last few weeks. These kind of hit my eye because a lot of discussions about how China is going to get its building sector back on track, and these guys are not kind of joining in the chorus. Apple's encryption battle is over. If you listen to the news, I will take this into the next chapter and kind of try to wrap it up in this segment. And then we have Janet Yellen talk in the next segment. We will try to illuminate that a little bit. But a lot of people saying, well, at least this first skirmish or battle is over. The war is still to be fought. But a lot of disinformation today about what is encryption and whether or not it's going to matter for us in the near future. There is a thing called quantum computing, and the idea is that you can't be in two places at the same time. Well, with quantum computing, you actually can. And probably the easiest way to explain quantum computing is something called the traveling salesman problem. And that is, let's say you're a traveling salesman down here in Florida. You're going to go to 20 or 40 different cities over the next 10 days while you're out trying to sell some new product that you have. What is the best way to hit all of those cities? And of course, figuring that you're going to have to go overnight. There's some rules into that. Can you get to the next city? Are you going to stay in that city that night and then get up early the next day and then drive? A lot of little rules out there. But for the most part, what we can look at is this traveling salesman problem. And for computers, or traditional computers, classical computers, the complexity is logarithmic for each time you add more cities to go to, more options. So at the time that you basically have 20 cities, not too big a deal. By the time you get to 100, it becomes problematic for a regular PC. By the time you get to 1,000 cities, it becomes problematic for some of the biggest mini and mid-sized computers and work farms. By the time you get to basically 1 million, it becomes problematic for the fastest of traditional computers. And what quantum computers do is literally able to do all cities at one time. Most encryption now, it revolves around maybe a 256-bit or maybe a 512-bit encryption scheme. Think of that as all the different cities that you could go to on your route. Which one's the closest? How do they follow all the rules that you need to get to? Well, the problem is that with quantum computers, you can do them all, and you can do them all at the same time. You don't have to try each combination slowly to figure that out. And we'll wrap this up in the first segment, get to Janet Yellen, then they get some charts. But basically, we are at the cusp, probably in the next 2 years, that encryption is a false debate. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And anyway, readers of the Tech Insider will know that quantum computers already exist. The companies involved in them. In fact, just about everybody is involved to some level other than Facebook. Don't know why Facebook's the only one. Maybe they are. I haven't read about it. But the computers already exist. With 1,024 qubits, which are like bits. You can think of them as bits. Qubits are bits that can be 1 or 0, or 0 to 100, or 0 to 1,000, depending on the design of the computer. So basically, if you're talking about 8-bit codes, all you would have to do is have 8 bits. It could theoretically crack the code in about, I don't know, 100 milliseconds, something like that. These computers already do exist. We have no idea what the NSA has already. My guess is that we'll know probably 10 years down the line that they have already had a quantum computer capable of breaking everybody's codes, including the Chinese and the Russians. The big problem has been that even if you weren't able to actually break the code today, Russia and China, of course, been saving all the data that they have gotten, and eventually they'll figure out a way to make their own quantum computer. We've been doing the same. A lot of people think that that giant facility in Utah that was made for saving data is just doing that. It's saving all the old data that is encrypted, and one day they'll just unleash a quantum computer on it, crack all the codes, go back and be able to read everything from the last 10 or 15 years that they've saved up. But basically a classic computer has a big problem with what is known as the traveling salesman problem, which is basically the same problem in breaking codes, which is you have to try every combination. A brute force attack. Basically, you can brute force it instantly. And other than that, I don't know why everybody's yelling and screaming about it, but my guess is that we have not heard the last of this issue, but we will not hear the reality, which is that maybe the FBI and the NSA are both using quantum computing techniques already to battle this issue, in which case near real-time decryption of any code would be possible. Of course, as soon as you go to 1024 bits, you'll go to 2048 bits, and eventually the key gets so problematic to compute that regular encryption is more trouble than it is worth. But we will look at it. Of course, Janet Yellen came out today and started talking, and I've got my Janet Yellen theme song.
You talk too much, you worry me to death. You talk too much, you even worry my pet. You just talk. You talk too much.
Yes, she does. Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen reiterated on Thursday that interest rates would rise slowly, reflecting global economic and financial developments since December. For those people that weren't Fed watchers in the 90s for Greenspan, we are now getting very much Greenspan-ish in the way that everybody is parsing individual syllables to go back and figure out what's happening. Janet Yellen, of course, was appointed, and her predecessor kicked off the FOMC unceremoniously on a 60 Minutes episode where they basically found out he wasn't coming back. Of course, the president was looking for somebody with an extremely dovish view. The question is, how long can she keep those folks that are openly rebellious into not raising rates when they can? She basically wants to have it one way and both ways, the cake and eat it too, but it is very problematic that she can do that. Why she says basically inflation is going higher, the dollar today would tell us maybe that maybe that's not quite right about what's going on. There was kind of an attack on it, off 64 cents on the dollar index at 95.31. This thing had been hanging around about 96 for a while. I suspect that it will probably continue to come and float back into that 96 to 98 range. I suspect that is where the deal has been made with foreign countries not to get into competitive devaluation, and maybe just a lot of people kind of pushing to the downside on it, but I don't see a great deal. Of course, we're up 14 points on the S&P cash. We're at 2.34 billion shares. Volume has not accelerated that significantly since she has finished talking. In fact, to bust out the highs, we're probably going to need something like about 4.8 billion shares. If we're only to this level at about 230, that would suggest that we are going to be probably a billion, maybe a billion two short by the end of the day. And again, I don't think we go anywhere from having the lightest option volume in several years, and that includes going into things like Christmas, to actually figure out that there is something very different going on in this market, and probably a lot of work in the backgrounds to collapse the recent volatility of the last few years by the Fed, by the Treasury, and we will see how this works out. But I don't know. Well, just a lot of that stuff. Anyway, not a lot else to glean from what she said. The market, as I said in my newsletter this morning, was waiting to exhale, and all she had to do was quit blabbing. And I think that's it. Yeah, she said enough. She said something. Don't really know what it is. It's, what else can you say? Just talk to Mitch. See, don't really know. I had one other thing. No, don't have it still. Okay, I was looking at something. Sometimes I just have to mumble on while I'm seeing and checking on some things that could be possible positions in the marketplace, and we shall see. Anyway, let's get our charts up and get ready for the next segment. where we will be talking about how charts and the markets are going. We've got earnings coming up. I'll just hit that before I go. After the bell tonight, we've got Dave & Buster's, Pacific Sunwear, and Restoration Hardware that took a beating like a redheaded stepchild not too long ago. Before the bell tomorrow, Carnival Cruise Line, Lululemon, and after the bell tomorrow night, Micron Technology. So there's a little bit. I don't think any of those stocks by themselves could really significantly move the market. Probably the closest would be Micron. It kind of tried to go up. It's actually getting no love today ahead of earnings, $10.36 with 21 million shares. Not much range, kind of at the higher end of the range, but still flat on the day. So we'll continue checking volumes. We'll look at some charts here. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and you can post any question you want in the den.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And my friend Andy Heck has a bunch of articles out here. The downside limited on crude, soybeans, central bankers, Brazilian real, precious metals, natural gas, crude oil, and is it time to buy equities? You can check those all out on his Seeking Alpha page. And, of course, talk to the man himself at 5 o'clock today on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He illuminates the commodities market. Of course, after this show, you've got 2 hours with Tom O'Brien, who will wrap up the end of the day and tell us maybe how a few of those stocks that are going to be have earnings after tonight do in the first hour of trading after it. But that is it. Anyway, I had an email during the break, which you can email me at path@tfnn.com to take a look and see how Lennar is doing so far. Out with earnings, certainly nice volume. They are going back into the gap down of the 4th of January, as so many of these stocks do. It did pierce through it already today. You got about 6 million shares on that gap down of the 4th. So far today, about 4 million shares. So I don't know if we can say a rousing endorsement on what's going on in this. LinkedIn, I can't remember what was going on with it. They had some news out this morning, but not a great deal of movement in that. Let's zoom in a little closer to see out here. Looks to me like more than likely this $98.25 low from February 10th will get tagged. You are higher than the open this morning, but that is not saying a lot. GoPro also had some dubious upgrades and downgrades. Doesn't seem to actually affect it at all today. It's out trading rather flat on the day, pretty much where the close was yesterday. And, of course, most of this was a bank shot from the manufacturer of their encryption chip that may be a little bit of tail wagging the dog these days. Also, a request to take a quick look at Microsoft, MFST. MS, he said, FT, if I could type. Not doing much. We talked about this being in an asymmetrical triangle. I see nothing that says this thing has gotten ready to break out of this. In fact, this is one of the tighter trading ranges. Let's see if they got an earnings date coming up. When is it next? Okay, April 21st. So you got about, 3 weeks out here before earnings. And they seem to do no wrong. Probably the most interesting thing about Microsoft's fundamental issues is they've now gone through 200 million installs of Windows 10, about 15 million of those in the time that they've released it. What is it, about 10 months ago now? Has been that about 15 million new computers, making about 185 million installs already. A couple of weeks ago, an article basically showing that Windows XP is far underneath Windows 10 now, and you basically have a heavily installed base of Windows 7, a slight installed base of Windows 8, and a very heavy install base of Windows 10. Of course, they are looking at a lot of other features to start impacting what they are doing. I am actually working on a kind of a startup right now for machine learning and looking at some of the options that Microsoft has along with the others. They all have some stuff. Probably the most interesting thing, again, for me and Microsoft is their ability to give it some code, run some stuff on their machine, and basically make an API that you can just call with all that code behind it on their cloud services. I'm sure other companies are probably going to be doing the same thing, but it's getting rather amazingly easy to do a great deal of things in the cloud. A lot of the pain is starting to get over, whether it's Google's, Amazon's, or Microsoft's Azure cloud. But I'm dealing with databases, and I have been doing databases in Microsoft for about 15, 16 years. So it's just a little bit more familiar for me is the only reason I've picked Microsoft. But again, kind of tough to find a company that is doing as many right things as Microsoft has been doing for a while. The only thing that really disturbs me is this discussion that they would be buying Yahoo. I think it's all a lie. I think it's all made up. Microsoft probably ignoring it like a mosquito buzzing around their head. Maybe they'll wave their hand a few times. If you don't remember, I think it was in 2007, 2006, the CEO at the time just about bought Yahoo before everything blew up in their face. Most annoyingly for Yahoo, the CEO at the time kept wanting more money, and eventually Microsoft backed out of it. But if Ballmer's tenure as Microsoft CEO was anything other than tepid or incredibly average while he was there, the absolute scorn of everybody probably would have been heaped on him had he completed that merger with Yahoo. Still probably the worst merger acquisition for him over that time was Skype. Skype was a very interesting product, but they spent $8 billion for a product they probably could have made in-house for $500 million. I never understood them buying it. It's now kind of a core part of the product. Skype built into just everything at Microsoft. But the history with Yahoo probably so checkered, it would be hard for me to believe that the current CEO would want to go down the road, the Bataan Death March road of Yahoo ever again. Other stocks of movements. Icon Brands had earnings out here. It's down a little. A lot of these stocks just look like they're in bigger trading ranges. Let me get the profile out here. What else do we have? We'll get to that. A brand new company owns a portfolio of consumer brands. Bongo, Mishka, Joe Boxer, Rampage, Mud, London Fog, Smo, Ocean Pacific, Danskin, Rockaware, Canon, Royal Velvet, Fieldcrest. Oh, they got everything. This thing goes on for a list. Billionaires, boy clubs, ice cream, modern amusement, Buffalo. Man, these guys are into everything, retail clothing wise, aren't they? Anyway, no joy in Mudville for the iconic group, Iconics group out here. But not a bad day, but volume picking up. Next support level is probably at about, I'm going to call it about 680. We'll be back in just a minute after this brief timeout. Don't touch that dial.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The April 14th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. And I'm finishing up something here, a little update for my subscribers. You can be a subscriber too. Go to the front page of TFNN.com under newsletters. Trading newsletters, get the path of least resistance. If you are a little slower to the mouse, or in my case, the trackball, and you don't like clicking a lot, maybe clicking less for trades, you can look at the Longer Tech Insider, a newsletter specifically tailored to technology and longer-term trades. But not many trades out here can last very long in the markets, but we'll continue looking. We're still under 2.5 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. Volume is pathetic. Again, I'm looking for any kind of breakout in this range, probably around 4.8 billion shares by the end of the day. We are at 2.5. That maybe says that we get to 3.5, maybe 3.8 billion. So we're going to be somewhere probably a billion to maybe a billion 5 light by the end of the day. We will continue to keep on it. Up 17 points on the S&P cash, but man, option volume is vaporous, and so is equity volume for the most part. Maybe that comes in before the end of the day. Maybe that comes in fund buying in the next couple of days. But man, I would be very reticent to put any trade on long or short in this vaporous volume market. Oh, what a great way to think about it. Vapor, because it is vapor. Skyworks Solutions out and down a little bit. It's come back a little bit since then. Volume is just okay out here on the day. But we haven't had much of a pullback. One of the things that you have to watch out here is for these closes below the 9-day moving average. We talked about how some of these stocks are setting up. They've been over the 9-day for quite a while. This is certainly one of them, Skyworks Solutions. Basically, you have to go back to the 17th of February for this thing to close below it. You had one day where it did, but it popped right back into that range on the 10th. So you've got a lot of stocks that have been in a very decided uptrend. If you get a close below it on Skyworks Solution, again, I'm looking for maybe a move back higher the next couple of days. If we continue to see no volume, maybe take out the 77.24 as a high and setting up a probably some major and quick pullbacks. In Skyworks Solution, you want to probably look at a couple of these gaps. You've got it on 3-1, which would take you to the low of the day, which would be about $70.42. The day before that, on the 29th, also takes you to 65.54. You can really kind of look since pretty much to the 4th of March in Skyworks and say, hey, the volume is light. Question to take a quick look at Apple. Very interesting to see Apple kind of rise out here today. The reason I say that is that overnight we started to see leaks about what Apple will be doing for its next iPhone. Part of those leaks come from orders to Samsung for new displays. It looks like they're going to the OLED technology in the next iPhone. It also looks like it will be a 5.8-inch screen for them from what they're ordering from Samsung. The other thing is that it will not be out this year. It looks like maybe a January or February release. So do not look for any iPhone revenues, iPhone 7 revenues in this year, at least from what the orders are and have been placed. Maybe they'll move that forward, but at the moment, it looks like from the parts being ordered, from the schedule being set up for a Foxconn, it is a February, maybe March release next year for the next iPhone. So I thought, well, what's this thing doing going up today? And it is. Let me validate the volume out here. 20 million shares. This is going in to the candle of March 21st, where we had 35 million shares. So I'm going to be watching this one as we go into the close today. Do we get anywhere close to 35 million? Is this thing just going to tap out on the highs? And again, so many of these stocks have been on an uptrend. This one you can probably say really started kind of back on the 24th of February. It's been on the upside of that 9-day moving average. We are back into that now. What you don't want to see is a couple of days up here with light volume and then a move back down. That would probably take you back down to the 103. So I don't know if I'd be short Apple, but I think you could have a nice little movement back here. And of course, the $97 gap level is hanging out here also in Apple, and maybe just setting up a bigger trading range through maybe the elections. You just, when I see volume that is as light as we have right now, I find it incredibly difficult to pull the trigger short or pull the trigger long, because I know that any long can blow up in my face in a heartbeat. And I also know into fund buying, they can drag this out for 3 or 4 days with no volume. I've seen it many times before. This is one of the times where it becomes incredibly hard if there's any cash to be had, because the men of Wall Street are pretty good at doing one thing, and that is taking a sucker's money. If you have IRA money, it comes in now. Everybody knows it. In fact, we haven't talked about it for a while. We always get new listeners, so I will repeat it one more time. Fund buying the last 2 or 3 days of the month, first 2 or 3 days of the next month. If you are a fund manager, let's say that you are have a tech fund, not an ETF, but a fund that manages technology companies, you are paid to be 100% invested all the time. Money managers, people like CalPERS, these big, huge hedge funds, or not hedge funds, big retirement funds, expect you to be 100% invested at all time and long. What they will do is say, okay, I will put my own hedge on. I will buy S&P puts. I will buy puts on Apple in case anything bad happens. They will hedge out those long positions, but they can't guess whether or not a hedge fund, actual sector fund is long or short. They need to think that if they've got $1.5 billion in some fund, that's $1.5 billion that is long, and then they will make their own hedges to take care of that if the market would pull back. So we have this kind of thing where there are only buyers. Even if a market is weak, there's nobody that really wants to drop the baby Ruth in the punch bowl this time of the month. If you are a big man of Wall Street, you want to see these things move up as high as possible. And then you get into the prisoner's dilemma. What do you do if you're the guy that starts selling first into this light volume and breaking the back of the market? maybe you won't be invited to the party next time. So anyway, we need a volume. We do not have it. 2.55 billion shares as we go to the break. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
The dollar index off 73 cents at 95.22 on the cash. Volume is about 2.58 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. And that is one thing that we don't like to see. Extremely wimpy volume out here today. So continue to keep an eye on that throughout the close. Maybe volume does come in. Maybe we're just not seeing it. But, man, it's going to be a light today. I'll be looking at the options volume again tonight, but record low volume in options makes me think that there's something else going on that I do not know about right now, and I'm going to wait and see before I'm all cash, by the way. I'm more than willing to sit on my hands for a few days and let whatever is going on play out. If it's just market indigestion and everything starts flowing through, then I'll be more than glad to catch the next wave. Right now, I do not have a good idea for an edge higher or lower of significance until we start seeing some volume come into this market. Again, we talked a great deal about how many stocks that are in an asymmetrical triangle and whether or not we're going to get that bust out here in the next few days. How many stocks that are on an uptrend that could have a nice little pullback. And we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Micron is after the bell tomorrow night. You don't have a lot of movement in these chip stocks. Certainly looks like before you could buy this thing, you certainly would want at least one more trip down to around this $9.30, $9.45 level. I don't see a lot that says that will not get tested. You've got some nice moves here. The downside is that you've got a high volume low at $9.31 with 65 million shares. You got into it with 15 cents light on February 11th with 27 million shares. So you're into that candle. Did you bust the bottom? Did you, as what they used to call, prove the point in Wyckoff terms? Did it go down there? Did it pierce it? Did it close back in it? And the answer is no. That always means that you have the ability. So far, the energy's not all that exciting down here. Maybe we'll find some of these stocks making some lows, but it is problematic at the time for me to get too excited about it. We looked at Lennar, didn't see a lot. What else was out here that I wanted to look at? TROV, maybe this was one of them. Another one that did gap down today, kind of getting a little bit of a bounce off the gap down today. Trovagene, a lot of these for a day where we're having light volume and not a huge movement. A lot of biotech stocks with news this morning opened up the movement in it. This one developed of urine-based cell-free molecular diagnostic technology for use in disease detection and monitoring across various medical disciplines. Basically, it's a PCM tester out here. If you've not had cancer, basically you have your PSAs and all the PCMs and all these other numbers that tell you whether or not you're getting cancer yet again. But it looks to me like from the description, that's exactly what this company does. But a lot of these high volume gaps and gap ups are coming back in here. So you kind of almost have to think that we may be close to some of these biotechs bottoming. The IBB was up about $5 today. I don't know if that's a big deal. Anyway, this did have a sign of strength on the 21st of January with 7.2 million shares, and we're into it with very light volume today. Hang on for the Tom O'Brien Show for the next 2 hours. Andy Heck at 5 Eastern, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.